All right, this is video 3 on how to use your budget. In this one, we're going to create your template tab all the way, and we will show you how to analyze and do your month-end check. So let's get on with it. So first off, this is where everything is going to start really becoming useful. Continue building this as a step-by-step with me. Once we finish the video, you are going to be ready to go. So again, we're going to be doing the month of February for Randy and Mary. You guys follow along with whatever you guys have. So, starting off, we're in the budget. We're back in the budget template file, and we're going to start populating our budget plan versus actuals table. So this is where we're going to put in all of what we're calling projections. Or we're going to create estimates. And so this is how we're going to plan out every month. So you can see right now I've already populated this, and so you can see kind of how you might want to populate it yourself. I like to have it split out in sections. So for income, you have 2 paychecks for Randy. They both get paid on the 1st and 15th. But if you get paid, every week or every other week, you'll just put your number of paychecks, and maybe you just leave these blank until you find out what your paycheck is for what payday is for each month, and you'll put those in your monthly specific tabs. But for this one, here's their income. Here's their bills. So you're just filling out the description for everything. I like to throw a couple of empty spaces just in case in your current month something different happens. Maybe you get a bonus, you throw it into the income, you get an extra bill, you can throw it right here. It just helps you keep everything organized. And then I also include a monthly specific section. Now, important note here, again with that little blue arrow, if you have it here and you want to add more rows, this one you can have blanks. This isn't like the description override or description simplifier. You can go ahead and pull this down now if you want, and you can fill out everything you need. But go ahead, maybe you can spend some time filling yours out now with what you need. But before that, actually, let's go ahead and let me explain a couple of key differences in what these are. So there are projections in here, noted by where it says projection, yes, and then there are estimates, which are noted by if it's not a projection. So a projection is something that will show up on the projection center. It's something that is an actual bill, and it's going to show up one time. An estimate is something that you just spend money on. You spend money on groceries, but there's not one transaction that you spend that costs $1,000. It's over multiple trips to the grocery store. Same thing with gas. It's over multiple trips to the gas station. Or these are for your allowances, like what you want to spend on just having fun or going out to eat or whatever. So those are your non-projections, your estimates. And all these do is you put in your category codes. Projection is no. And you throw in your estimate. So this is what you want to spend each month. And these don't go into your projection center, but your projections do. So now those are pretty easy. Those are your estimates are pretty easy. Projections require a little more information. And the reason they require more information is because they're actually going to populate in your projection center, and they're going to be pulled out when a transaction accounts for it. So for these, what you want to show is what bill it is. You give it a description, and you give it a due day. And you just do this by number because your months change, so you don't want to give it an actual date. So mortgage is due on the 1st of the month, electric due on the, and so on and so forth. You give it what account it's pulling from. So mortgage gets pulled from Randy checking. Car insurance goes from Mary, and then all of their daycare expenses go to their shared credit cards. You give the codes. These are the codes that we made earlier in our rules tab, just so we know what codes we're in. And then you give a keyword. So these are the keywords that say, hey, when this shows up in an actual transaction, that's how it's going to pull your actual. So TXU is the keyword for the electric. As soon as some transaction shows up in the transaction center for Randy, it's going to give you an actual that says that shows you how you compared your $165 estimate to your actual. So that's how projections work. And I'll go ahead and show you in the month of February how that actually works out for you. So if you've already created your month, you're actually going to want to delete it. So I would go in and delete the month that you created from your last video, and go into your budget template where you added in all of your projections and estimates. Copy and create a new one. So here's your February with everything that we included in the budget template. Come up here, template 2126, and check it out. So here's mortgage. We spent $1,800. So check it out. Here's mortgage in our projection center, and the amount is now 0 because I don't want to account for that anymore because I've already spent money on it. If I still had $1,800 here, it would be double dipping, and then it would show a wrong balance at the end. But it doesn't look like Randy's car insurance has been paid yet. So that's actually pretty interesting because it was supposed to be paid on the 8th, and we are, as we mentioned, in the 15th. So Randy might want to check into maybe he just hasn't paid it, or the auto pay didn't go through, something like that. He'll have to figure that out. But you can see water and trash comes on 2/18, and internet on the 22nd. So since we're on the 15th, we don't need to worry about it, other than we need to see how his bank account's going to sit by the end of the month. And with all these projections, you can. Mary does something similar, and so and then same thing for credit card. You can see all the projections went there. All right, so we created February. And now it's time to go ahead and start analyzing things. First thing, what you want to do when you're analyzing is make sure that you're checking, or your starting balances are right for every month. So what you can do, you can go to the last transaction on the previous month, but we don't have that right now. So you're just going to go into your bank account and find out what the balance was. So for Randy, it was $22.50. Mary had $300 in this example. And credit cards, because they don't carry a balance, it's always negative. You're always gonna have a negative balance rather than a positive, unless you just like overpay your credit card for some reason. So now we can kind of see where their balance sits currently, and where it's going to sit by the end of the month. Here's where Mary sits currently, how it's going to be at the end of the month, and then their credit card. Now let's go ahead and figure out their codes. So you can see most of their codes are auto-populated from all the rules we created earlier, but they have a few that still show Z. So in the rules, they did create a other. We're gonna populate some of those with other, and we'll just take a look at each one. So Chase credit card payment, we'll call that other. Your credit card payments, if you have a credit card section, it's all gonna cancel out because you paid it here and you received it there. So that one's not a big deal. Mary also made a credit card payment. And then this is something interesting because Randy and Mary already have a section for subscriptions, and they only have Netflix and Spotify. But you can see here, there's a recurring transaction to PBS Kids. So it looks like maybe their kid got into their account and accidentally created a PBS Kids account. So for now, they're going to go ahead and mark that as other, but they're going to take that as a note that they need to go in and cancel that and maybe set a password for their for their TV. And then in credit card, you see that they went to Perry's. Now let's go back to our rules and see what we might have for that. So restaurants and fast food are R. Fun money is Y. That's a restaurant, so let's give that an R. Ticketmaster, so they spent some money on tickets for something. We'll call that Y. That's their fun money. These are those payments that they made, so we'll call those O for other. And then La Brisa is a restaurant, so we'll call that R. Now we show no more colors on the codes, and it looks like we're all clean there. So now we can go ahead and start analyzing our data. Now, what we didn't do earlier in the template was create an executive summary. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. In your executive summary, you want this to be a roll-up of the codes. You want this to be at a quick glance, how did I do? And you want it to cover all codes that you have. So income should be, you can make this your own, but I would make it as minimal as possible while still covering all the codes. So for bills, they're combining living expenses and C for childcare. That's all their daycare. D is debt. That's pretty easy. Subscriptions. And now for their random expenses, they have F, G, and O. That's their food, gas, and other. That's just all their expenses that they plan. Savings, S, allowances, Y, and R. So you can put as many codes as you want in here. But if you don't have all the codes covered, so let's say they forgot to put the X in, you're going to have an error here that says missing codes in executive summary X. So fill everything out until you don't have an error saying you have missing codes. Now we're all covered, and it should automatically pull in all of the estimates. Now since we're in the template tab, it won't have any actuals because there are no actuals. But once you copy that over into your current month, you will have actuals. So go ahead and fill that out in your template tab as well, and we'll come back to this. But now, for what we have here, you have actuals versus estimates. Now remember, we're at the 15th of the month, so not everything is going to be paid yet. But you can already see for their paychecks, it looks like they actually made more than they estimated. So that's good. It looks like Mary, maybe she just got a raise or something, because she looks like she got about $150 more each paycheck. So they can go ahead and update their budget template to include that in the future. Their bills, they're looking probably pretty spot on for the month, but let's take a, because they haven't finished the month and they have a few more bills to pay still, but we can take a deeper dive into it and find out. So here's all of their bills. You can see they're pretty much spot on with their electric. Internet's not paid yet, so that makes sense. We noticed earlier that Randy's car insurance hasn't been paid, so he needs to figure that out. And then the rest of this is looking pretty good. So nothing too concerning with their bills. It's all kind of running on track. Debt is spot on. Subscriptions. It doesn't look like all of their subscriptions came through yet. Let's take a look. Netflix and Spotify are not until the 19th and 23rd, so they don't. So they shouldn't have that yet. Savings, they haven't put anything into savings yet, and we'll see if they're going to be able to by the end of the month. Allowances, that's pretty interesting. So we're at the 15th of the month, and between their fund money and restaurant, they planned on $1,400 for the whole month, and they've already spent $1,337. So they might want to look into that a little bit. They really don't have any more money to spend for the next 15 days on anything fun. So they really have to tighten down if they're trying to meet their goals. So now let's take a deeper dive. Let's see what are they spending so much money on. And you can see that they've spent almost all their money on going out to eat, 390 out of 400, and just about all their fun money allowance, 947 out of 1,000. But they're like, hey, I don't feel like we did all that much. Why did we spend so much money? Now, instead of going into each individual transaction and finding out, they can go to this vendor summary and find out exactly how their roll up went. So we're looking for codes R and Y, so they can look at all these, and it'll roll up everything for that everything that they've spent based on their vendor. But take a look at this. You have all these different Amazon purchases, and they're all written differently because they have all these unique codes. And this is what we were talking about earlier with those with that description override. They didn't description override Amazon or DoorDash yet. They don't care to see which restaurant they DoorDashed to. They just want to see how much they spent on DoorDash. So let's go ahead and fix that up in their codes real quick. So we'll go to rules and we'll create a couple new rows. AMZN is how it was noted, and we're going to change that to Amazon. DoorDash, we only want it to say DoorDash. And see how I made that blue come down here? That's bad. We want to go ahead and move that up. Let's get that back. So now let's look back here, and you can see we now have only one line for DoorDash and one line for Amazon. But take a look, they spent $105 on DoorDash, $84 at Labrisa, they spent a lot at Perry's, and Amazon they spent $641. So that's really their big ticket. What caused all the problems? So the Amazon guy must have been knocking on their door like nonstop. So now they know what's going on, where they're spending all their money. So they might not have felt like they were having too much fun, but they just kept on clicking buy on Amazon. So that changes things. Now they have to watch what they're doing for the rest of the month. But they know what the problem is and what behaviors to look out for in the future. And the last thing that they need to look out for is, okay, so now they have $1,100 on their credit card currently, and by the end of the month they're going to have at least $1,500 on their credit card that they need to pay. So they're going to have to figure out between, it looks like Mary's going to have enough money to make that payment, along with Randy. So luckily they had some money in their account, but notice that Randy's mortgage comes out on the 1st of the month, so he needs at least $1,800 in his account. So it's just something. It's a way to look forward in the future. Is, hey, I need $1,800 in my account. So if I have $2,600, I probably can't pull or pay that full $1,500 out of Randy's account. We'll have to do some kind of split between Randy and Mary to pay it. And so that's how you analyze your data. It's you can take a quick look at the executive summary, and then you have various places where you can do deeper dives to see how your behaviors are affecting your long-term goals. So now, real quick, ongoing use every couple weeks or every week, however often you plan on doing this. What you're going to do, if you're using the auto CSV pull file, you're going to put new CSVs. You're not going to add more because you don't want to accidentally duplicate transactions. You're going to replace the CSVs, and then you're going to hit refresh all. It'll show you the updated transactions you've made, and you'll adjust accordingly. And that's really it. You're going to look at all of your data again, and so it only takes a few minutes every week, and the system improves over time as you add new rules. Then at the end of each month, because you might not want to pull CSVs because if you're like me, you want to maintain your February knowledge. So let's pretend we're at the end of the month and we've already started our March budget. I don't want to keep pulling February every month, all the data for February every month in my CSVs. But if I don't, none of my transactions are going to show up because my CSV only shows the month of March forward. So what you want to do if you want to maintain, now you can just delete February, or if you want to maintain all the information, you can come here, you can hit Control and A a couple times until it covers everything. You see everything in here is highlighted, and then you're going to copy, and then you're going to paste values. So paste the 1, 2, 3 values. Now, all those things that were formulas earlier and were auto pulling are now just pure numbers and letters. So you can come back in here and reference all of this stuff for the future. And that's it. Now you have clear visibility into your spending, and that'll help you make better decisions in the future. I hope this helps, and that's it. Enjoy.